Ambassador Kethvar of the Zephyrian Collective adjusted his crystalline breathing apparatus as he entered the Grand Council chamber of Nexus Prime. The air here was thick with tension, something his species could literally taste through their atmospheric sensors. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 47 different species sat in their designated environmental pods, all waiting for the emergency session to begin. "The motion before us today," announced Chancellor Vexoni, her 6 arms, gesturing dramatically, "concerns the immediate expulsion of the human delegation from the Galactic Peace Accord." A chorus of clicks, chirps, and harmonic vibrations filled the chamber, the equivalent of enthusiastic applause from dozens of alien species. Only one section remained silent. The small human delegation consisting of 3 individuals who seemed remarkably calm given the circumstances. Kethvar studied them with interest. Humans were relatively new to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 50 standard years ago. They were bipedal, carbon-based, and breathed oxygen, unremarkable in almost every way. Their homeworld, Earth, was a small blue planet in an unremarkable star system on the outer rim of the galaxy. Most species considered them primitive, barely worthy of acknowledgement. The humans, continued Chancellor Vexoni, have repeatedly violated the sacred tenets of peaceful coexistence. They establish military outposts on contested worlds. They refuse to submit to mandatory pacification treatments. Most disturbingly, they continue to manufacture weapons despite our explicit prohibition. The human ambassador, a middle-aged woman named Sarah Chen, rose slowly from her seat. Her calm demeanor was unsettling to many in the chamber who expected emotional outbursts or desperate pleas. "Honored delegates," Chen began, her voice carrying clearly through the translation matrix. "Humanity has always respected the sovereignty of established civilizations. Our military outposts are research stations on uninhabited worlds. Our weapons are defensive in nature, used only to protect our colonists from hostile fauna and environmental hazards." "Lies," screeched the Mantari representative, his insectoid, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Your species is inherently violent. You wage war against your own kind." Chen nodded slowly. "Yes, we have a history of conflict. But we also have a history of learning, growing, and striving for something better. That's why we joined this council, to contribute to galactic peace." Kethvar watched as murmurs of disapproval rippled through the chamber. The other species had evolved beyond their aggressive phases millennia ago, either through genetic modification, technological suppression of violent impulses, or simply natural selection favoring peaceful traits. To them, humanity's continued capacity for violence was an abomination. "The vote is called," declared Chancellor Vexoni. "All in favor of immediate human expulsion?" 44 appendages, tentacles, and manipulator arms rose in unison. Only 3 abstained. Kethvar among them, though he wasn't sure why. "The motion passes," announced the Chancellor. "Humans have 72 standard hours to vacate all territories within the Galactic Peace Accord. Any human vessels found in Council space after that deadline will be destroyed." Chen stood again, and for the first time, Kethvar detected something different in her posture. Not fear or anger, but something far more unsettling, disappointment. "We understand," she said simply. "Humanity withdraws from the Galactic Peace Accord effective immediately. We wish you all well." The human delegation filed out without another word, leaving behind only silence and what Kethvar would later recognize as a profound sense of unease. 3. Months later, the first attacks began. The Skreath hegemony, emboldened by humanity's expulsion, began expanding aggressively into former human territories. They had always been barely contained by the Council's peace treaties, their predatory nature suppressed but never eliminated. With humans gone, they saw opportunity. The attacks started small. Raids on isolated research stations, captures of merchant vessels. The Council condemned the actions but took no military response. They had no military to respond with, having dismantled their fleets generations ago in favor of diplomatic solutions. When the Skreath began enslaving entire colonies, the Council sent strongly worded letters when they started using civilians. As food sources, the Council organized economic sanctions. When they invaded core Council worlds, the Council called for peace talks. The Skreath ignored them all. Kethvar was monitoring communications traffic when the transmission came through on all frequencies simultaneously. The signal was strong, professional, and carried the unmistakable efficiency of human technology. "This is Admiral Chen of the Human Defense Fleet," the voice announced. Sarah Chen's daughter, Kethvar realized with surprise. "We've been monitoring the situation in Council space. While humanity is no longer bound by the peace accord, we remember our friends." The tactical display lit up with new contacts, dozens of them appearing throughout the galaxy in perfect coordination. Human warships, their designs angular and purposeful in a way that spoke of function over form. The Skreath hegemony has 48 hours to withdraw from all occupied territories and release all prisoners. This is not a negotiation. Chancellor Vexoni's panicked voice crackled across the emergency channels. "The humans cannot do this. They were expelled. They have no authority." Admiral Chen's response was ice cold. "You're right. We have no authority. We're not here as members of your council. We're here because someone needs to be." The Skreath response was predictably aggressive. Their entire fleet, nearly 1,000 vessels strong, moved to engage the humans. Intelligence reports suggested the human fleet numbered less than 200 ships. It should have been a massacre. Instead, it was a masterclass in military precision. Human vessels moved with coordinated lethality, their weapons systems decades ahead of anything the galaxy had seen. Shields that seemed to bend energy around them. Projectile weapons that carved through Skreath armor like paper. Most terrifying of all, tactics that seemed to anticipate every Skreath move before it happened. Within 6 hours, the Skreath fleet was scattered, their leadership captured, and their occupied territories liberated. In the aftermath, as the council chambers buzzed with fearful discussions about humanity's display of power, Kethvar found himself thinking about the conversation that had started it all. They had called humans violent, primitive, dangerous. They had been right. They had also been catastrophically wrong. Humans weren't violent because they were primitive. They were violent because sometimes violence was necessary. They hadn't evolved beyond their aggressive instincts because they understood that some things were worth fighting for, even when those things belonged to people who had rejected them. The final transmission from Admiral Chen was brief. "The Skreath threat is neutralized. All liberated territories are returned to Council authority. Humanity wishes the Galactic Peace Accord continued prosperity." As the human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind only grateful survivors and stunned council members, Kethvar realized something profound. The galaxy had wanted peace so badly that they had forgotten why peace was worth having. Sometimes it took monsters to fight monsters, and sometimes the greatest act of peace was knowing when to make war.